Today, let's talk about how to use your inner Pippi Longstocking power to reach your goals. Pippi Longstocking said, "I have never tried that before, so I think I should definitely be able to do that." Her belief in herself is awe-inspiring, and I think we can learn a lot from it. But actually, I will think that we have an inner Pippi power that we can make to work for us. And I think that if we go back to our childhood and we actually look at the belief we had in our own abilities before we started to compare ourselves with others, if we get a hold of that feeling that basically anything is possible, I think we can shift a lot of things in our lives. Imagine how you would be able to show up if you had that belief in yourself. Imagine how much more energy and effort you would be able to pour into the pursuit of your goals, and by extension, the pursuit of your dream life. Our brains are plastic, which is just a fancy term for saying that they can change. And just like we change from having that childlike belief in ourselves to comparing ourselves with others and to the state where we are now, maybe scared to even take that first step towards our very, very important goals, we can actually change back. We can change back to that belief that I just call childlike. And isn't it just silly that we call that childlike? But we all need to connect with it. If we really want to take action towards our goals, it is such an advantage to actually think that we can achieve them, because we do show up differently when we think that we can, because then we spend our energy working towards our goals instead of talking ourselves out of pursuing them. And when we talk ourselves out of pursuing our goals, then we are not taking any steps towards the desired reality that we want to create, which means that we're just postponing the future we would like to create into some indefinite future that might never even happen. And I think it's one of the reasons that we get very dissatisfied with life, that we are not even working towards pursuing them. In regards to Pippi, I think there are two things at play here, because there's her belief in herself, and then the other side of that coin. I think there are two different things, and I think it makes sense to talk about them like two separate things. But the other side of that coin is that she is not afraid of criticism. She does not care what other people think. And of course that stems from her belief in herself. But I also think it is a separate thing. It is also a decision we can make to not let other people get a vote in how we want to live our life, and which goals we want to show up for, and how we show up for them, and that we show up for them. Our life is our life, and Pippi would not care at all about what her neighbors thought about her goals and what she did. And at the same time, she would be so convinced that she could do it, that she would always take one step and then the next and then the next. And as long as we do that, I think that we figure out how to actually go about things. Often when we embark on a journey towards a big goal, then maybe we have some sense of what should we do to actually get there, but we stay stuck because we want to know each step of the way. We think that it will give us safety and security to know each step of the way, but that is a false premise, really, because what it does is actually it just keeps us stuck in inaction. Whereas if we believe so much in our own ability to actually reach the goal without knowing all of the individual steps right now, then we can just take that first step. And when we have figured out and we've seen we could take the first step, then it will be so much easier to take the next and the next. And I'm not saying overall it will be easy, but it does get easier. What Pippi is doing right is that she's consistently gathering evidence that she can actually do things. Because she is doing things, she consistently gets the feedback from the world that she can do things. So her belief in her own ability is consistently strengthened. Whereas when we want to plan ourselves, not exactly out of taking action, because we think that we are planning our way towards taking action, but that is not exactly what we're doing. When we plan so much, then we are just ending up talking ourselves out of actually doing the things, because we are control freaks and we want everything to be perfect before we take action. I've got a funny story for you. About 6 years ago, I was on the Marie Kondo craze, and I wanted to minimize my home and organize everything. And what was funny is that I did organize the clothing in the drawers. I did do that. But then I reached a point where it got a bit harder, and dealing with sentimental items and kids' drawings and whatnot. And then I started thinking, which means that I pushed off doing anything, which meant that the house that I thought was quite chaotic and that I wanted to get under control just kept getting more and more and more chaotic. And that meant that I thought more and more and more about what am I to do about the house. And I kept thinking, and I kept not doing anything. I kept watching the YouTube videos about organizing, minimizing, and I kept not doing anything. And when we do that, instead of taking imperfect action, then we get more and more dissatisfied with life. I think there is so much to be said for actually just taking the action. And I avoided that for such a long time. So if you are in a place right now where you avoid taking action, I can relate. I can relate 1000%. I've been there. I know all about it. And I also know how heartbreaking it actually is to want something over here and you're stuck over here. And I want you to take these incremental steps towards your goals. And if we can just connect with that inner sense of everything is possible that we actually had before we started comparing ourselves. And comparison is fine if you work with it as a tool to see, okay, what do I not have that I want to have, or which abilities do I not, which skills do I not have yet that I want to work on getting. All of that is fine. So if you look at it as something aspirational, something to work towards, that is perfect. But if we use comparison, if we go online and we see that other people are making better videos than we are, and their bookshelf has a straight line because their camera stand is actually working, whereas mine is, my camera right now is on a stack of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 books. We have to make reality work where we are right now. And it should not deter us. So let's be Pippi-like. Let's make MacGyver solutions when the camera stand is not working. Let's just consistently work towards the goals that really matter to us. It is, as I've said so many times before, it is not a question of motivation. It is a question of actually believing ourselves enough to get started, and then collecting belief when we see that things actually work out. That is what Lisa Billier calls radical confidence in her book by the same name. And I think that is such a switch. It is such a mindset shift that we need to make. That confidence, we used to think that confidence was a feeling. It is not a feeling. It is what we get when we see that we have actually succeeded in doing something. And I just want you to really find that in yourself, find that strength that you have to actually take action before you have the evidence. Do what Pippi would do. Take the action and believe in yourself already. Take a leap of faith. You will not regret it. And if you don't believe in yourself yet, know that you can borrow my belief in you. I do believe in you. I think that you can reach the goals that you want to reach. I really, truly do. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. You will make the algorithm gods happy and they'll suggest this video to other people who can benefit from the Carpe Diemology mission of creating more joy, meaning and fulfillment in our lives. Let's make happiness a real priority. It will create massive positive ripple effects in the world. Also, come and join the conversation on Instagram and learn more about how you can create your best Carpe Diem life.